later, people. We are recording. All right. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to the July Mastermind, Abundance Academy Mastermind. We are about to head into the love area. So it's pretty exciting. Everybody loves the love area. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
A little thumbs up. Yeah. Okay, great. I was just doing my love area in my office just now. Got my pink in there. I've got my pink orchids and my 2 candles together. That's my pink journal. I'm trying to bring more pink into my life. I'm wearing black today, but I buy things like a pink journal, and my phone has a pink cover on it. I was just looking for my little bracelet where'd it go? Oh, it's gone. Anyways, so yeah, that happened. I ordered a aqua color, which is more my color, and I got a pink one. And so it's kind of like the universe being like, all right, more pink, please. So softening, for me, my love area, I think I've talked about it before, is the mechanical room for our pool area. And there's a little small area of the pool area that is in that area as well. But having the mechanical area and having that kind of like closed off, there's no other way to put it, mechanical area and that hard surfaced kind of thing is really, is really kind of defeating in a lot of ways. So I've done a lot of things to bring about that balance, and I'm excited to dive into it over these next 6 weeks to bring that around even more, because I really do feel like it needs some loving, and it is a block for me, and so the love area is, of course, all about love and relationships and self-love and all that sort of stuff. But it's also one of the main things that we don't talk about is the receptivity and our ability to receive, right? So you guys on live are going to see me fiddling. I'm such a fiddle. You can't see me on the Zoom. You can't see that, but over here you're have all my little dirty secrets there. So I was looking for my bracelet so I can fiddle. But anyways, so the receptivity is a huge factor that's lacking in our lives, and I like to address the love area in a way that we can look at it for what's really going on. And the way we do love is the way we do everything, right? Just like the way we do money is the way we do everything. And so sometimes it's easier to look at one area through the lens of the other, if you will. And I always talk, because the wealth area is here and the love area is here, so I'm always talking in Bagua language with my hands. But it's easier sometimes to look at, since we're in the love area, maybe through the lens of money, right? And how we receive money, how we share money, how we spend it, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's easier to look through that lens back at our love area and see where we're holding back, where we're not receiving fully from the universe, and where that love is fully stepping in. So it's, uncomfortable for a lot of people to even talk about love and money in the same sentence, because we've been drilled with these old stories about, there's no such thing as love and money, and there can't possibly be a combination of the two. And it's amazing how intimately they work together. So if you guys saw the little intro that I just did with Carrie Gavin, who's going to be a regular expert in the group, and she's a mindset coach, and she speaks largely to money mindset. We were talking about the intimate relationship of love and money. and how those two things are combined. And so I'm excited to tap into that. So I made sure that Pat was here today, right? Because she was wanting, she's got a new space. And so I wanted to give you a little attention, a little one-on-one attention for what's going on in your new area, which looks gorgeous, by the way. And
Thank you.
yeah, are you excited about it?
I'm excited. I'm so excited. It's like a culmination of many years of dreaming about this space, and it came to fruition this year through a friend of mine, and I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely loving my space.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what we were discovering, looking at your, I'm going to turn the Facebook Live off because I just realized they can't hear you. They can't hear you guys talking. They can hear me talking, but they can't hear you talking because you're in my ear. So that's not going to work. So the love area. So what I was telling Pat, and I think it's great timing. The back wall was, so it's kind of like on a curve almost, right? And
right.
So if you think about entering with the front door and that curve, there's this area in the back that's a little bit missing from the love area, a little bit from the wealth, or I'm sorry, from the love area, the fame area, and the wealth area. And it's interesting that we pick those area, we pick the spaces that, or at least in my theory, we pick spaces that we either grew up with, or they represent spaces that we grew up with. They basically, they mimic where our limiting beliefs are showing up. And so the beauty of feng shui is that we can fix that, right? We can do something about it, and we don't have to, we can discover where those limiting beliefs are coming in, and we can discover where they're rooted, but then we can feel empowered to do something about them, right? So recognizing them, and understanding, like me with my love area in the mechanical room, with Pat, you've got some voids in those areas. Particularly the love area, as I remember, had like a hallway and maybe a bathroom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the bathroom definitely is more in the love area, but because of that horseshoe type shape of the house, there is a piece of it that cut off. It's more so, I feel like, in that fame and the wealth area have that storage.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those areas definitely are affected. I feel like the bathroom, though, I kind of feel, which is the biggest part of the love area, it's pretty whole. There might be just a slice of the corner off of it. And I added a little pink polished stone in there today.
Nice.
Because I read something that you had put, like, or told someone to put pink polished stone. I'm like, I'm going to put one in there today. So I did.
Perfect. Yeah. So as much pink as possible. Those the pink quartz is really great. I've got those are the Himalayan salt candles that are behind me. They're like just little candle holders. But even a Himalayan salt lamp would be great in there to light up that fire, especially since it's the bathroom, which is water, which isn't fantastic for lighting that's more of the fire area. And so having candles, particularly in duality, right? Coupling things together. So 2 red candles or 2 pink candles, or even whatever colors, but pink and red are the strongest colors in those areas, and lighting that fire. So like maybe when you're in the bathroom getting ready in the morning, you can light the candles with an intention, while you're doing your hair, or, taking a shower or something like that. So it's not all being watered down all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And picking the colored towels, you could incorporate, it doesn't have to be like fuchsia pink. You could do like a, peach color or something like that, a salmon, just to bring in, a color like that, or red that feels a little bit more, warmer kind of thing. So we're trying to warm up that space. And the bathroom, just like my mechanical room, are cold surface areas, right? And we're the ideal thing for a love area is like, soft and cozy. It's like ideally you'd want to have like a couch with like amazing soft fuzzy pillows, someplace where you can just flop into and really feel comforted. And so like in my mechanical room, I've got 2 chairs, but they have to be waterproof, and so it's a little bit of a challenge. But so trying to be a little bit more creative with those sorts of things, bringing in artwork that reflects love. So I see Gina looking at her walls. So
my office is in my love area, so I'm looking around like, oh, I'm moving things. Like, these need to be next to each other. That's
awesome. Yep. So yeah, like even having a framed piece of art that says love in it, whatever feels good to you. You could have pictures of your family, or you could do pink orchids, pink flowers, that sort of thing. So anything that softens that space and enlivens that space so that you're paying attention to it. So ultimately the goal is, right, that when you first change your space, you're walking in and you're like, ooh, there's my pink flowers. Ooh, there's my pink towels, and it brings back that, like, that intention that you originally set by placing those items, right? And then subconsciously, slowly, we, as we, start to have those things out of our direct conscious vision, they're in our subconscious now, and they become a pattern. So you're empowering yourself, subconscious to maintain that that higher vibration, that higher intention for drawing in that love. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fabulous.
So, the point is to understand our space and what is currently going on in our lives, right? Because whatever is in our space is physically manifested by our thoughts and our patterns and our habits, right? And it's slowly kind of, stemmed up into our space, and now it's being physically manifested in our space. And so it's not what you're with the law of attraction, right? Whatever you think and you put out there turns into manifested things or form. It's that when you I'm sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. That when you put those things out into the when we can see those patterns in our space, right? And so we can recognize them, and then we can do something about them. So that's the beauty of this work, right? Is that we can recognize where our vulnerabilities are, right? I'm trying to not use the word block anymore, because it feels a little intense, and it feels a little harsh, and it feels like this impenetrable wall that we can't get through, right? And that's not what it is. It's an area where we feel vulnerable, and so we put up these walls to protect that area, right? And so all of those vulnerabilities could be protected. And so what we're doing is recognizing where we feel vulnerable and how we've protected ourselves, and now we're trying to fizzle that down and recognize that we don't need those walls there anymore, because it's a story that was played out in our past, and it's not going to come back and haunt us. So we're empowering ourselves to move through those, to not to move through the block, to move through the wall, but to strengthen the vulnerability, right? It's like having an injury and strengthening the muscles around it, right? So if you ever blew out a knee or an ankle, right, you go to physical therapy and you're not necessarily strengthening those, that the knee or the ankle, you're strengthening because it's kind of permanently weakened. And what we do is we surround it with strength, and we surround the muscles, that we empower the muscles around it. So that's what we're doing with feng shui, is that we're regrooving that pattern that we had in our head where we need to protect that area of our lives. And so when we're protecting it, what are we doing? We're setting up blocks so that nothing can get in. And we're trying to adjust everything so that that flows. So we're not running into walls all the time, right? We're not hitting our head up against the wall, and we're able to flow through the space, and we're able to fully receive that information that the universe is trying to give us, right? And to connect the dots for us so that we can find that partner, find that ideal partner, or enhance our current relationship, or understand how worthy we are of love, or to receive that love in the form of miracles in our lives, and serendipity, and money, and having the right things show up at the right time. That's what we're really ultimately doing in this work, is to bring down the walls so that they're minimized, right? So that we can step through them and keep that flow moving. So does that make sense?
Makes sense to me completely.
Good. Yeah. So so do you guys have any questions about specifically like bringing in certain items to enhance those things in the love area in particular, or do you have questions about what we just went through with the fame area? So we don't just need to focus on specifically the love area.
Well, if I could ask about that fame area, I like the idea of the candle in the bathroom for the love area. I think I definitely want to incorporate that in there. But since my fame area is so small, it's like a hallway through to the other parts of my house. And so I do have some like tall candlesticks, and then I got some of those one of those candles that have the little switch on them. They're not real, but yep. I turn them on all the time. And I placed a long red runner under a table that I have in that area. Is that enough for that fame area? Like enough of the fire elements and the red to kind of enhance that fame area, since that's my biggest void in the house? Mm-hmm.
I think that it is a great start, but the fact that you're asking tells me that it's not enough. So you're answering your own question, that you need to enhance it more, and maybe you don't need to enhance it particularly in that area, but you can choose rooms. Since there is a voided area there, I would look to other spaces. So laying the bagua out over your bedroom and discovering where the fame area is in your bedroom, and putting some candles or whatever enhancements feel good there. And in the living room, take notice of the kitchen, because oftentimes the kitchen lays out where the kitchen sink is right smack in that fame area. So if you're, just kind of figure out where, oftentimes when we have one of the areas missing from our overall plan, as you start to lay the bagua out over individual rooms, you'll notice that that is a reoccurring thing within each of the rooms. Either there is a physical element, right, like a sink that you can't do anything about, or you are laying out the room in a way that's not supporting the fame area. So it's kind of a theme thing. And it feels like, do you mind if I give you a little laser coaching, a little energy stuff? Yeah. So when I look at your photo, the number one thing that pops out at me is the fame area. So it's no coincidence that that is something that you are working on. And that is in conjunction with the career area, which is your life path, which is your power, your core. So working those two things together, when there's a depletion in one area, so the fame area is the main area that has the depletion, the opposite area is the career area. So it's probably right around maybe your front door. I wasn't paying as much attention to that.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. The front door, yeah, it goes directly to that back wall, which is that fame area.
Right, exactly. So, so paying attention to the career area as well to strengthen, to kind of bolster up that fame area, because when there is a depletion or a void in one area, the opposite gua tends to get drained more easily. And so having that awareness around your career area, adding more water elements, adding the color black or a deep dark blue, and paying attention to your core chakra and really empowering your core chakra. One exercise I like to do is I place my right hand on my head, and I put my left hand over my core chakra. And then I welcome in the energy to help me understand. It's like the energy is like traveling across my brain. If you do it, you can actually feel it. And you can make up whatever feels right to you, but to connect that understanding, which actually is I don't want to confuse you guys, but it's where the fame area is your crown chakra. So your crown chakra is up here and your core chakra is down here. And so connecting those two things where you understand what's coming through. This is kind of like the portal of where those downloads come in. The universe sends that down. And then the core chakra is really your, can't see it, but I've got my hand on my core right here. So that understanding of, sorry, I'm trying to not mince the words whenever I like get the download, and then I try to like soften the words. It doesn't come through as clearly, but it's your path and it's your purpose, but it's really that innate understanding of what you are placed here to do, right? So connecting that download and letting that come through into your core chakra and understanding exactly what it is that you're here to do on earth, and really recognizing that. And, that's why they say, listen to your gut, listen to that core chakra, and following that deeper knowing that you have and trusting it. I think that's probably the word that I'm looking for, is trusting that deeper knowing that, that you have, that you're not willing to trust right now. So that's what this work does, is it helps you by taking the outside and bringing it in, right? So by supporting those energies on the outside, we're able to soften that energy on the inside. And so we get some clarity around what it is that's going on in your world, where that came from, what the story is, what the patterns are around it, so that you can begin to recognize how to clear that up for yourself. And so paying attention, strong attention to, yes, to the love area, yes, to the wealth area, but these are your underlining issues that you need to clear up first, or to bolster and to empower first, so that the love area and the wealth area come into alignment as well. So
that's perfect. Yep,
yeah.
I totally get it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're saying the core chakra, you're saying the second chakra. Is that right?
The 1, 2, third chakra.
Third
Yep.
chakra.
Yep.
Okay.
So you have your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and then your core chakra. So it's like right in the center.
Okay.
Yep. Right at like your rib cage.
What is the root chakra? What part of the house does that?
That's the wealth area. That's the wealth area. So it's being grounded and centered and content. That's how those two relate. So if you think of your root chakra goes down from the base of your spine, but it also goes down through your legs and into your feet, and that's where you're connected to the earth. And so if you think about all the riches that the earth provides for us, that's where it starts. And so that root chakra is related to being able to receive all of the gifts, that the earth is willing to give us, but whether we're open to receiving it. But it's also being content and grateful for all of those things, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting because I think the purple color
right
would make me think that would be like crown,
right?
But it makes sense because I have a large void in my wealth area where I literally have like a wall, and then the rest is a void.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure that out.
Right. Vision boards are great for when you just have a wall, because they're so powerful, and you can place it on your wall. And don't get overwhelmed. I've been encouraging people to just do like a 11 by 17, piece of paper. Like start there, because this is way easier to cover, than trying to do like a poster board size thing. And if you get tired of this size paper, you don't feel bad, or something shifts in your life, and you make the leap and all of the things come true on the vision board, then you can make another one, and it doesn't feel so daunting to do that sort of thing. And the vision boards are so great for being able to truly visualize what it is that you want, how you want to feel. So working those vision boards is super important. So this just happens to be on my desk. I printed this out when I was getting my office together, because I'm like, ooh, I love all of that, right? And that's kind of like what I want my office to feel like. And so, having that as a vision, but being like, ooh, I can feel myself sitting in that chair, and I can see myself writing, in my journal at that desk, and looking out the window, and really like feeling your way through the vision board. That's when the magic happens. It's one thing to like make them, and you're kind of feeling it when you're making it, and then you slap it up on the wall, and it's like, oh, done my work. But that's not where the work ends, right? Like you gotta, feel your way through it. So put it in a spot that you're going to see it regularly, that you can pause throughout your day, and and just work it for a little bit. It doesn't take very long, 2 minutes, or not, maybe a minute, whatever time you have to put to it, to create that feeling and that energy. If you have just a wall that looks into the wealth area, mirrors are great for that wall to expand that area.
So I would put it, so it's just a small room. I would put it on the love, like I have, I don't know, I can actually show you.
That's right.
So here's my desk area, my love area, and then my fame, and then that wall is my wealth area.
That's your wealth area. Okay. And
because then I have a mud room that takes up like half of the house.
Okay. So the mirror is most helpful when it is on the wall where the void is behind the wall.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So it would actually be on the wall, that wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it would be, so the way mirrors work is they expand whatever is reflected in them. So make sure that there's not like dirty dishes being reflected in them, because I've learned that lesson the hard way. The never ending dishes. Because I had I have a void on one of the walls, and wanted to expand the space. So it's almost like creating a picture where you can see beyond, so you're almost like seeing into where that space is voided. It becomes like a room, if that makes sense.
A question?
Yeah.
Well, I do have a mirror on that same wall.
Okay.
Is that I just wasn't, it feels really good to come in the house and just the way I have the stuff arranged on that wall, but I wasn't sure if a mirror was okay, because I thought mirrors represented water.
Right, exactly. They do. Yeah.
But what you're saying there is the expansion. So it's like, oh, well, that, and then that reflects into the career area.
Right.
Which, but it also brings in the outside picture, which is beautiful, of the lake and the serenity of that whole, what I look out at every day. So can you help kind of clarify that for me? Is that a good thing to have a mirror on that wall?
I feel like it's a good thing because of the way that you're describing it and the way that you are using it. It's not necessarily a water reflection. I would just be cautious about it, because it almost feels, it's interesting because it almost feels as if it's another way to dim your light, right? Because the fame area is all about shining your light, and water is diminishing of the fire.
Right.
And so if it's pulling, even though it's expanding the space, it's pulling the reflections of the water element. So it's almost like can you see the lake and everything from?
I'll have to go home tonight and look at it.
Yeah. Just look at it with a little bit different eyes, right? And see if you've chosen that to expand the space, or if you subconsciously chosen it to water down your fire, right? Because if you're drawing in the water, the reflection of the water from that element, and you're drawing in the water of the career area, it almost feels like that's what's happening there. So it might serve you better to have like this, piece of art that you walk in and you see, and you're like, damn, I love that. Like every time you walk in the door, you see that all the way back there, and you're like, whoo, I'm on fire. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think that would serve you better.
Pay attention to that when I go home.
Yeah, just see what comes up. Like that's what I love about this work, is that you can go sit in that space and just be like, all right, let's get my honest meter on here and see, what exactly what am I trying to accomplish here? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what else, ladies? What else? We're covering a lot with different ideas. So the other thing with the love area is that it's the mother area. So a lot of times I have clients that are that have young kids, and the mother area is either completely neglected or it's destroyed by children, like that kind of thing. So keeping in mind that reception again, that receptivity again. What are you reflecting back out into the world by allowing that area to kind of be terrorized and to not suit your needs, and to not be as tranquil and as soft as you could make it. That was in my last house, the dining room was in the love area, and it was a really difficult thing for me to decorate. In this house, it seems to be as well, right? So it's this kind of reoccurring theme. Surprise, surprise. So just pay attention when you're looking at that space as with your mom eyes too. Like, am I giving myself the attention that I need in my life to do everything that I need to do, right? Because we will neglect that space because we don't make time for ourselves. We don't make time as moms. We don't take ourselves as seriously, and we put everybody first, right? So what's going on in that area that maybe is reflecting the fact that we're, putting everybody else ahead of ourselves. So, because we have to fill our cup first. We all know that. We know that intellectually, right? But it's really hard to execute it. And especially in our busy lives and our busy worlds. And so making sure that space kind of reflects that filling of our cup. For Pat, you could make it more spa-like, make that bathroom really like your relaxation time, and thinking about it that way. And that would probably be a good thing for me to do too. Like, I could make that, more like inviting, and someplace where I could have, some quiet time away from things. But just, paying attention to the space and making sure, because, where your attention goes grows. And so making sure that you're setting the intention and actively participating in the space. For me, that just means for that particular space is literally paying attention to it, and actually spending some time in that space. We have a shower in there. I could, go get some really lovely soaps and, spend some time in there, light a candle and take a lovely spa-like shower to nurture myself. So, and that radiates out into the rest of the house and into, the world. So, trying to raise that vibration and be aware of it in every way possible. So, good stuff. I love that I learn right along with you guys, right? I'm like, oh yeah, right. So I need to pay attention. Yeah, so it's good stuff. Anything else that like comes up, pops up?
As you were talking about pairing things, I realized me and my husband, I feel like we've been really distant, and I'm looking and I have like 2 quartz crystals, but one's over here and one's down there. And I have 2 plants, but one's over there and one's over there. And I thought, I need to match everything up.
Right.
I need to put them next to each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's true, right? I'll tell you guys a brief story, and then I'll send you on your way. But I had one client that was having that exact same scenario where she was experiencing distance with her partner. And, we were downstairs looking at the loved area downstairs, and it was the kitchen, and it wasn't very soft or welcoming, but it wasn't really, sending any bells off for me. And then we went upstairs, and the master bedroom fell in the love area as well. And when we walked in the door, there was an ironing board, and then these 2 portraits of these 2 people facing away from each other. They were single portraits, but they were facing away from each other. And she told me that her and her partner didn't even like the artist that did them didn't like the portraits themselves. And she was just, and then the ironing board, I mean, if the ironing board kills romance, like what else, you know, I mean, hello, I can't handle ironing, right? So the like she walked in and I was like, okay, this is something here. And she's like, oh my God, you know, I can't believe it. So she immediately removed the ironing board, took down the pictures, replaced them with other things. And she contacted me a day or two later. I don't even think it was 24 hours later. And she said that that evening her partner came to her and was like, you're the, you know, they've been together for a long time, you know, at least probably more than a decade. And you're the most amazing person. And I'm so lucky to be with you. Feel so blessed that you're part of my life. And, you know, you complete me, you know, that kind of, you know, the whole thing, like super romantic. I'm not, you know, giving it justice, but, and then they had like, you know, when you're first dating sex is how she's described it, you know, like, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You know, this stuff works. So, you know, just, yeah, being conscious of all of that kind of stuff and, you know, what you're reflecting. And so I think that's fantastic, Gina, that you know, comes up for you. Like, there's something over here and over here. No wonder we need to like come back together and to understand that, yes, there's times when we go our, you know, separate ways, and then, but there are ways to bring us back together, and raising that vibration in your space around that energy is the perfect way to do it. You know, just calling in that energy and putting the plants together and, you know, setting the intention for the space that you know, want to have more quality time together and to connect. I guess that's probably the bigger piece, right? Is even if you don't get the time together, the connection piece, because you can connect in quick moments and feel it and understand it and know that, yes, we're busy, but we're good. And yeah, so I think that's great. And just adding in, you know, some softer pieces and setting the intention a little bit more specifically by, you know, writing in your journal and maybe popping it up on the wall, that kind of thing could be super helpful as well. But, you know, we're literally in the first days of this. So, you know, give yourself a little time, give it a little space, and, you know, it doesn't have to be solved today. So make the adjustments, see how it feels, see how it sits. And then next week, you know, make a few more adjustments and maybe tackle particularly bedrooms are, you know, we're specifically talking about the love area and the overall house, but when relationships come into play, the bedroom is really a particular area to make that connection. So
that area of our room is like so cluttered. There's so much. So all of our extra stuff is in that corner.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go attack that.
Yeah, just clear it out, right? Just give it some room. Give it some room to breathe, because, you know, that stuff will come, the love will come back to you guys so easily. It's just almost as if we busy ourselves and we don't make the time, and then we wonder why it won't catch up, because we're always like sprinting through life, and then everything's back here trying to catch up to us, you know? So that's, I think, a lot of times how clutter happens, is that we're just so busy that the busyness is really the avoidance and the resistance of getting into, you know, what's really going on. If you're too busy to deal with it, right, then that's how it's manifested. The clutter, you know, the piles get deeper and deeper, and then you still don't have time because you're digging through the clutter and all that kind of stuff. So just sweep it out and move it somewhere else. Like, find another spot for the clutter where you can deal with it, and let that, you know, you don't want that as a problem. Yeah. For you and, you know, for your husband and your connection, but also for you and in everything, right? Like, love is a big deal in our lives, and being able to receive that love is a big deal. Love is everything. That is that love is that light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one place we definitely don't want to block.
Excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah. All right, ladies. Well, if there's no questions, any more questions, but if there is, please feel free. You guys got anything else I can help with?
No, I'm good. I'm good right
Right.
Yeah, I've got some stuff to work on.
Okay. Awesome. So do I.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining me today. This was great. I appreciate you guys' time, and I will see you soon.
All right.
Thank you, Jen.
Love you. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.